Rain fell heavy in the city that night. The streets were almost empty. Streetlights flickered, throwing broken light across the wet ground. Cars rushed past, spraying water on the sidewalks. It was late. Most people stayed inside, safe and warm, but Daniel was not most people. He had just finished his night shift at the factory. His coat was thin and his boots made a dull splash with every step. He walked the long road back home, tired and thinking only of his small apartment. Then he heard it. At first, he thought it was a cat. A strange sound, high, metallic, like a broken bell. But then it came again, sharper, like something crying, in pain. Daniel stopped. The sound was coming from a dark alley ahead. His heart beat faster. He told himself to keep walking. It was none of his business. But the sound came again, weaker this time, as if whatever was inside the alley was begging for help. Daniel turned. Slowly, carefully, he stepped into the shadows. The alley smelled of trash and oil. Broken crates lay in the corner. A flickering neon sign buzzed above. For a moment, he saw nothing. Then, movement. Two small shapes crouched behind a dumpster. Their skin was pale, almost silver, glowing faintly in the dark. Their eyes were huge, shining like twin moons. Their clothes were torn. Strange, not from Earth. Children. Not human children. Daniel froze. His breath caught in his throat. He had seen things on the news. Rumors of visitors, stories of ships in the sky. But he never believed them. Yet here, they were, two alien children, shivering, dirty, and scared. The smaller one whimpered, holding its arm as if injured. The taller one pulled it close, glaring at Daniel with wide, frightened eyes. "Hey," Daniel whispered. His voice shook. "It's okay, I won't hurt you." The taller child hissed in a language he didn't understand. Then it spoke a single word, broken but clear. "Run." Before Daniel could ask, the ground trembled. A low hum filled the air, deep and heavy like an engine above the clouds. A beam of red light swept across the alley, scanning the walls. Daniel looked up. His chest went cold. A ship, not like any airplane he had seen. Silent, black, shaped like a blade, hovering above the city. Its lights moved across the streets, searching, hunting. The twins pressed against the wall, their bodies shaking. The taller one held the smaller one tighter. Their eyes begged Daniel to understand. He didn't know what to do. He only knew one thing. If that ship found them, the children were finished. The red beam moved closer. It touched the dumpster. It moved, over the broken crates. Soon it would shine on the children. Daniel's body moved before his mind did. He stepped in front of them, blocking the light with his own shadow. He spread his arms wide, pretending to adjust his coat. To anyone watching from above, he looked like just another tired man in the rain. The beam paused on him. It scanned him, head to toe. Daniel held his breath. He tried not to move, not to show fear. Then, slowly, the beam moved away. The hum grew distant. The ship slid across the sky, vanishing into the night. The children stayed silent, pressed against the wall. Daniel turned to them. His heart still raced. "You're safe now," he whispered. The taller one stared at him, still unsure. The smaller one leaned against its sibling, breathing hard, whispering something in their strange tongue. Daniel crouched down. "You can't stay here. They'll come back." The children said nothing. Their eyes were wide, empty with hunger and fear. Daniel sighed. He had no money, no space, and no plan. But he could not leave them here. "Come with me," he said softly. "Just trust me." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the taller one slowly nodded. It pulled the smaller child to its feet. Together they stepped out from the shadows. Daniel guided them out of the alley. The city felt different now. Every light, every sound seemed dangerous. He walked fast, keeping the children close, hiding them under his coat. At last they reached his small apartment building. Old bricks, peeling paint, broken elevator. He unlocked the door and let them inside. The room was small, just a bed, a table, and a cracked window. But it was warm. The twins stood in the corner, silent, their glowing eyes watching every move Daniel gave them. Blankets, old bread, and water. The smaller one ate quickly like it hadn't eaten in days. The taller one stayed alert, still guarding Dot. When Daniel sat on the bed, the taller child finally spoke. Its voice was soft, broken, but Daniel understood one word. Danger. He leaned forward. "Who is after you?" The child shook its head, its eyes filled with tears. It whispered the same word again, this time shaking with fear. Danger. Before Daniel could ask more, the building trembled. Outside, the sky roared. The same ship returned, closer this time. A voice thundered from the heavens, deep and cruel. "Find the heirs. Bring them back alive." Daniel froze. The twins clung to him. Their secret was out. They were not just lost children, they were something much more. Daniel barely slept that night. The strange voice from the sky still echoed in his mind. Find the heirs. Bring them back alive. He lay awake, listening to every creak of the old building, every rumble of thunder outside. The alien twins huddled together in the corner of the room, wrapped in blankets. Their glowing eyes stayed open, watching the window as if danger might crash through at any second. When dawn finally came, the city was quiet. Rain had stopped. A pale light entered through the cracked glass. Daniel sat up, exhausted, but the children were still awake. The smaller one coughed softly. The taller one whispered in that strange language again, words Daniel couldn't understand. But he saw how gently the older twin stroked the younger's head, calming them. Daniel's chest tightened. These weren't monsters. They were children, scared, hungry, and far from home. He stood, searching his cupboard. There wasn't much, some rice, a few cans, and old tea. He boiled water, made something simple, and offered it to them. The smaller child accepted quickly, sipping the warm broth with both hands. The taller one hesitated, staring at Daniel with sharp suspicion. Eat, Daniel said softly. It's safe. Finally, the older child gave a short nod and tasted. For the first time, their eyes softened. After they ate, Daniel tried again to speak. Who are you? Why are they hunting you? The older child looked away. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then broken words escaped their lips. Name. Lyra. Brother. Kyle. Daniel blinked. At last, names. He repeated them slowly. Lyra. Kale. The younger one, Kale, smiled weakly when his name was spoken. He touched Daniel's arm, whispering something soft. Daniel didn't understand the words, but he understood the feeling. Trust. Just then, the walls of the building vibrated. A low hum returned, faint but growing louder. Daniel rushed to the window. Far away, black armored trucks rolled down the street. Soldiers in dark suits stepped out, their weapons glowing. They moved with precision, scanning every building. Daniel's stomach sank. They were searching, closer this time. He turned quickly to the twins. We have to hide. Lyra grabbed Kale's hand. Their eyes glowed brighter. Daniel noticed something strange. Shapes forming on their skin, glowing lines like symbols. It was not just fear. Something inside them was awakening. Before he could ask, the building's power flickered. Lights went out. The air turned heavy, buzzing. Daniel realized it wasn't the soldiers, it was the twins. Kale's small hands trembled, and suddenly a glass of water lifted into the air, floating before crashing to the floor. Daniel stepped back, shocked. What are you? Lyra pulled Kale close, glaring as if daring Daniel to come closer, but Daniel raised both hands. I'm not afraid, I just want to understand, Kale whispered, weak but clear. Run. That same word again. It chilled Daniel. Outside, comma boots thundered. Soldiers entered the building. Shouts echoed through the hallways. No time, Daniel muttered. He grabbed his coat, motioning to the twins. Follow me. He led them through the back stairwell, down into the basement. Dust and mold filled the air. Pipes leaked water along the walls. They ran past broken boxes and rusted metal. Suddenly, a spotlight cut across the basement window. Soldiers were outside. Daniel pushed the twins behind an old furnace. He crouched in front of them. Stay quiet, don't move. The door burst open. 3 soldiers stormed inside, scanning with strange devices. The machines beeped faster when pointed at the furnace. Daniel's heart raced. They were seconds away from discovery. Then Kyle's eyes glowed bright blue. The pipes above rattled, bursting open. Steam and water sprayed across the room. Soldiers shouted, blinded by the sudden fog. Now! Daniel grabbed the twins and ran through the side exit. The chaos gave them just enough cover. They stumbled into an abandoned street behind the building. Sirens echoed. The city was waking up to something it had never seen before. Daniel led them down narrow alleys, across empty lots, until they reached an old warehouse. Inside, it was dark and dusty, but safe for now. The twins collapsed onto the floor, exhausted. Daniel leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. You're not just children, he said slowly. You're something more. Lyra looked at him, eyes fierce yet sad. She spoke, struggling with human words. Heirs, hunted, no safe. Daniel's mind spun. Heirs? To what? A kingdom? A world? A throne? Before he could ask, Cale touched his hand again. A vision flashed in Daniel's mind, brief, broken images. A shining palace, stars above, fire, screams, soldiers breaking through golden gates, and then a shadowy figure with burning red eyes. Daniel gasped. The vision ended. He stared at the children, breathless. You showed me that, didn't you? Kyle nodded weakly. Lyra said nothing, only watched. Daniel realized the truth. These weren't just refugees. They were royal children, hunted across space. And now, somehow, they were his responsibility. He clenched his fists. If they want you, they'll have to go through me first. But even as he spoke, the warehouse doors creaked. Footsteps echoed inside. The soldiers had found them again. The twins' eyes widened in fear. Daniel's pulse thundered in his ears. They were out of time. The warehouse was dark and cold. Dust floated in the air. Daniel pressed his back against the wall, his chest rising fast. Lyra and Kyle crouched behind him, their glowing eyes fixed on the wide metal doors. The sound came first. Heavy boots, moving together in rhythm. A crackling, hum of alien weapons. Then, clang! The warehouse doors burst open. 5 soldiers stepped inside. Black armor, red visors glowing. Their weapons hummed like hungry predators. Daniel's throat tightened. He had nothing but his fists. But he couldn't. Let them take the twins. One soldier raised his weapon. Targets located. Daniel moved before thinking. He grabbed an old metal pipe from the floor and swung it with all his strength. The weapon cracked against the soldier's helmet. Sparks flew. The soldier stumbled. Run! Daniel shouted. The twins bolted deeper into the warehouse, but more soldiers poured in from the side. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. Daniel ducked as a bolt of red energy shot past his head, burning a hole through the wall. He swung again, striking another soldier's leg. The man fell, but 2 more grabbed Daniel, pinning him down. Don't hurt them, Daniel growled, struggling. The soldiers ignored him. Their scanners beeped as they tracked the twins. Lyra and Cale backed into a corner, trembling. Then Cale's eyes lit up bright blue. The air around him shifted, buzzing with invisible power. A crate lifted off the ground and hurled across the room, smashing into a soldier. Daniel's jaw dropped. He had seen a glimpse of their power before, but this was different. Stronger, uncontrolled. The soldiers shouted, regrouping. One aimed at Cale. No! Lyra cried. Her eyes blazed with golden light. A shockwave exploded from her body, knocking the soldiers back like leaves in the wind. Daniel hit the ground hard as the force spread through the room. Dust rained from the ceiling. Metal groaned. When the wave ended, silence fell for just a moment. Then the soldiers rose again, slower this time, but angrier. Daniel crawled to his feet, grabbing a fallen soldier's weapon. It was heavy, strange, but he aimed it the way he thought it should be aimed. He fired. A burst of red energy shot out, striking another soldier square in the chest. The man fell, armor smoking. Daniel's eyes widened. Got it. Now he fought like a man possessed. He fired at one soldier, swung the weapon like a club at another, and dodged the third. The twins added their power. Kyle lifted debris into the air and flung it while Lyra's shockwaves shook the ground. For a moment they were winning. 3 soldiers down, 2 retreating. But then the air above them split open with a deafening roar. The black ship had returned. It hovered low above the warehouse, tearing the roof apart with a blinding red beam. Metal screamed as it melted away. The voice boomed again, filling the night. Bring me the heirs, the human is nothing. Daniel's blood ran cold. Whoever commanded this ship didn't care if he lived or died. The soldiers regrouped, surrounding him. Daniel held the alien weapon, tight, his arms shaking. He couldn't win against them all. Not like this. Go, he shouted to the twins. Find a way out. But Lyra shook her head, her eyes fierce. No, leave. Daniel's heart ached. They were just children, but they refused to abandon him. The ground split as another beam tore through the warehouse. Fire erupted. The building shook, ready to collapse. Daniel grabbed both twins and pulled them behind a pile of crates. Listen to me, he whispered. You're stronger than you know. Use it. Fight. Kale's hands trembled. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, the golden light pulsing with every heartbeat. The soldiers closed in. One lifted his weapon, aiming. Straight at Daniel. And then, everything exploded. The twins unleashed their power together. Kale's telekinesis ripped the weapons from the soldiers' hands, sending them flying. Lyra's shockwave blasted outward, shaking the very earth. Windows shattered for blocks around. Daniel shielded his face as dust and fire consumed the warehouse. The soldiers were thrown into the air like rag dolls. The black ship wavered, its beam disrupted. For a heartbeat. There was silence. Then, hands grabbed Daniel from behind. A soldier, half broken but alive, had caught him. The man dragged him toward the beam of light. Daniel struggled, but more soldiers joined, forcing him forward. Daniel! Lyra screamed, reaching out. Kale cried, glowing tears streaming down, his face. The ship's light swallowed Daniel, lifting him off the ground. He thrashed, shouting, but the pull was too strong. Run! Daniel roared one last time. Stay safe. And then, he was gone. The ship rose higher, carrying him away. Into the night sky. The twins collapsed to the ground, their small bodies shaking. They had saved themselves, but lost the one person who had protected them. Above, the black ship disappeared into the clouds, carrying Daniel into the unknown. The alley, the warehouse, the city. They were silent again. But deep inside the twins, something had changed. They were no longer just scared children, they were heirs. And now they had something to fight for. Daniel woke to the sound of chains. His head throbbed. His arms were pulled above him, locked in glowing cuffs that hummed with strange energy. The floor was metal, cold against his knees. When he opened his eyes fully, he saw walls of steel around him, curved, alive, pulsing with faint blue lights. He was inside the ship. Footsteps echoed. Daniel lifted his head. 2 armored guards stood by the door, weapons glowing. Beyond them he could hear a low hum, like a heartbeat running through the entire vessel. A heavy voice spoke from the shadows. So, the human wakes. Daniel turned. A tall figure stepped forward, cloaked in black. His face was hidden behind a mask with sharp red lines. His eyes glowed crimson, burning with cruel light. The warlord. Daniel felt his stomach twist. This was the one who had been calling from the ship. You are not our target, the warlord said, circling him slowly. But you protect them. Why? Daniel's throat was dry. They're children, they needed help. The warlord's laugh was low and cold. Children? Is that what you think they are? You know nothing, human. He raised a hand. A hologram appeared in the air, images of Lyra and Kale younger, dressed in shining robes, standing in front of a golden palace. Their eyes glowed brighter, calmer, like stars in human form. Daniel stared, breathless. They are not orphans, the warlord said. They are heirs, the last blood of the Zarin throne, and I will have them. Daniel shook his head. Heirs? Royalty? Yes. The warlord's voice hardened. Their parents ruled with weakness. They spoke of peace when the galaxy needed war, so I ended them. I burned their palace to ash. Only the twins escaped. And now, I will end their line, forever. Daniel's fists clenched against the chains. His heart burned. He remembered Kale's visions, the palace, the fire, the screams. It had been true. You're a coward, Daniel spat. Hunting children. The warlord leaned closer. Call me what you wish, but their blood holds power. With it I will unite the armies of the stars. Their death will crown me king. Daniel struggled against the cuffs, but they held firm. His arms burned where the energy bit into his skin. Still he refused to lower his head. You'll never win, he said. They're stronger than you think. The warlord chuckled. Stronger? Yes, but they are also young, afraid, easy to break. They will come for you, human. I will make sure of it. The guards dragged Daniel to his feet, shoving him into a small cell of glowing walls. The door sealed behind him. He sank onto the floor, breathing hard. His mind raced. He was trapped, unarmed, surrounded by enemies. Yet one thought gave him hope. The twins. They had power. Real power. If they were heirs, then maybe they had a destiny greater than anyone knew. But destiny meant nothing if they were captured. Daniel closed his eyes, whispering to himself. Stay strong, kids. Don't give up. Far away on the rooftops of the city, Lyra and Kale watched the black ship vanish into the clouds. Their hearts ached. Kale cried softly, holding his chest as if part of him had been torn away. Lyra wrapped her arms around him, her jaw set tight. She would not cry. Not yet. We find him, she said in broken earth words. We bring him back. Kale nodded, wiping his tears, but his small hands glowed with sparks of power he could not control. The bond they had with Daniel was more than friendship. It was family, and they would not let him be taken. Inside the ship, hours passed. Daniel sat in the corner of his glowing cell, listening. Guards spoke in their alien tongue outside. He couldn't understand most of it, but one word repeated again and again. Heirs. Then comma. The door slid open. A different figure entered, older, thinner, dressed not in armor but in robes. His face was wrinkled, his eyes tired. He looked at Daniel and whispered, You protect them. Daniel frowned. Who are you? The old man glanced nervously at the guards, then back. Once I served their family. I was a teacher to the heirs. Daniel's heart jumped. Lyra and Kyle, you know them? The man nodded. They are the true blood of Zarin, the last hope of our people. If they die, our world dies with them. Daniel pressed forward against the glowing barrier. Then help me save them. The old man's eyes flickered with fear. The warlord is too strong. His army obeys without question. But the heirs, if they awaken their full power, they could fight him. They could unite the galaxy again. Daniel swallowed hard. But they're just children. Children, the old man agreed. But not helpless. Their blood carries the legacy of kings and queens. They need a guide, someone to believe in them. That is why they cling to you. Daniel felt a lump in his throat. He had only tried to help 2 lost kids. Now, he was part of something far greater, a war he didn't understand, a destiny that wasn't his, but he couldn't walk away. He thought of Kale's small hand in his, of Lyra's fierce eyes, of the way they trusted him even when they didn't have to. He straightened his back. Then I'll protect them, no matter what. The old man gave a sad smile. Brave words, human, but courage may not be enough. Before Daniel could answer, the warlord's voice thundered through the ship's speakers. Bring the heirs to me, and if they resist, kill the human. Daniel's blood ran cold. His fate was sealed. But deep in his heart, a spark of defiance burned. The night sky burned. With red light high above Earth, the black warship floated like a shadow against the stars. Inside its steel heart, Daniel hung in chains. His body ached, but his spirit fought to stay strong. Every second he wondered where Lyra and Kale were. On the ground far below, the twins stood on the roof of a ruined building, staring at the sky. The warship's glow painted their silver skin with fire. Their small chests rose and fell quickly, fear mixing with determination. Daniel, Kale whispered, his voice trembling. Lyra clenched her fists. Her golden eyes burned brighter. She had always been the shield for her brother. But now she felt helpless. Daniel was gone, stolen by the enemy. And the warlord's voice echoed across the city through hidden speakers, cold and sharp. Children of Zarin, if you want the human to live, come to me. Kale shook his head, violently. Trap, he hurt Daniel. Lyra pulled him close. Yes, trap, but we go. Kyle's eyes widened. No, too strong. We die. Lyra's lips pressed into a hard line. She looked up at the ship, her heart heavy. We cannot leave him. He saved us. Again and again. We choose. Inside the warship, Daniel strained against the chains. The warlord entered, his cloak sweeping across the floor. They will come, the warlord said, his red eyes glowing. Your sacrifice will draw them in. Daniel spat blood and glared. You think they'll surrender? You don't know them. The warlord chuckled. Oh, I know them better than you, human. They are young. They are afraid. They love you. That is weakness. And weakness always bends to power. Daniel's heart pounded. He knew Lyra and Kyle would come. He just prayed they would survive. Hours later, the warship's landing bay opened with a hiss of steam. Two small figures stepped forward, hands clasped tightly together. The twins. Lyra held her head high, her glowing eyes unshaken. Kale clung to her side, trembling but standing tall. Their silver skin shimmered under the harsh lights. Daniel's breath caught when he saw them. No, you shouldn't have come. The warlord spread his arms wide, smiling behind his mask. The royal blood at last, the galaxy's lost heirs. He motioned to his guards. Release the human. Let him see what loyalty costs. The chains unlocked. Daniel fell to the ground, weak but alive. Two soldiers dragged him forward, forcing him to his knees. He lifted his head, meeting the twins' eyes. You shouldn't have come, he said again, voice cracking. Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was small but strong. We come, for you. The warlord laughed. Beautiful. The heirs choose surrender. The throne is mine. He raised his hand. A dark energy swirled around him, feeding on the moment. The soldiers surrounded, the twins' weapons aimed. Daniel's stomach twisted. He couldn't let this happen, not like this. He forced himself to stand, even as soldiers pressed weapons to his chest. Don't do it, he shouted. Don't give him what he wants. You're not his prisoners. You're more than that. Kale's eyes filled with tears. But you die. Daniel looked at them, his voice soft now. If I die free. But if you surrender, you'll be slaves forever. Is that what your parents wanted? Is that why they fought? The twins froze. His words hit deep. Images of their palace flashed in their minds. Their mother's gentle smile, their father's strong hands, the sound of laughter before the fire. Their parents had fought for peace, not chains. The warlord's voice cut through the silence. Enough, he dies now. He lifted his weapon toward Daniel. Energy crackled. No, Lyra screamed. A golden wave exploded from her body, knocking soldiers off their feet. Kale's eyes blazed blue and the weapons flew from the soldiers' hands, crashing against the walls. Daniel stumbled back, stunned. The twins stood tall now, no longer trembling. Their fear was gone. In its place, Power. The warlord roared. Foolish children! Do you think you can resist me? Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. We are heirs. We do not bow. Kale lifted both hands. His power bent the air itself. Sparks rained down. The warlord's mask tilted. For the first time he hesitated. Daniel's chest swelled with pride. They weren't running anymore. They were fighting. He grabbed a fallen soldier's weapon and aimed it, his hand steady now. You're not alone, he told them. The warlord snarled, energy swirling around him, then die together. The ship shook as his power crashed forward. The twins stood side by side, their light blazing. Daniel braced himself, ready to fight until his last breath. The bay erupted with fire, steel, and light. When the smoke cleared, Daniel was still alive. The warlord had been forced back, though not defeated. The twins leaned against each other, drained but still standing. Daniel reached them, dropping the weapon, his voice breaking. You're incredible. You're so much more than you know. Kyle's small hand touched Daniel's chest. Lyra looked at him with fierce determination. We fight, she said simply. Together. Daniel nodded. Together. But even as they spoke, alarms blared across the ship. Outside the bay doors, an entire fleet of warlord vessels appeared. Hundreds of ships waiting. The war had only begun. The alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across the warship. The floor shook under Daniel's boots as the engines roared louder. Through the wide bay doors, the dark void of space spread out, endless, terrifying. And there, just beyond, an entire fleet appeared. Hundreds of black ships, their wings sharp like blades, their lights red and hungry. They surrounded the warlord's vessel, blocking every path. Daniel's breath caught. My God. Beside him, Lyra and Kale stood frozen. The twins' eyes reflected the fleet, their small bodies trembling. But Daniel could see something else. In them, too, a spark. The warlord raised his arms. His voice thundered through the ship. Behold, the heirs of Zarin, the last of their line. Soon their blood will crown me ruler of all stars. The soldiers around him cheered, pounding their weapons against their armor. The sound rattled the bay like thunder. Daniel clenched his fists. Don't listen to him, he whispered to the twins. He wants you to believe you're weak, but you're not. You've already proven that. Lyra looked at him, her golden eyes glowing faintly. We are small. Daniel knelt down, gripping her shoulders. So was I. My whole life I was just one man. No family. No power. But when I saw you two, I didn't think about small. I thought about what was right. That's all that matters. Kyle swallowed hard. Right, fight. Daniel nodded firmly. Yes. Fight. But not alone. Together. Suddenly the warship jolted. The fleet outside began to move, forming attack lines. Beams of red energy shot through space, tearing into smaller rebel vessels that had appeared from the shadows. Daniel blinked. Rebels. From the far side, a handful of ships, older and battered, fought back. Their weapons flashed blue, striking against the warlord's fleet. But they were badly outnumbered. The old teacher, the man who had once served the royal family, rushed into the bay, his robes torn. His voice shook as he pointed outside. Those ships, they are the last rebels of Zarin. They still fight for the heirs. But they will fall without you. Lyra's eyes widened. Kyle gripped her hand tightly. Daniel looked at the twins. This is your chance. You can give them hope. You can lead. But we... Children, Kale whispered. Daniel smiled sadly. So what? Leaders aren't chosen by age. They're chosen by courage. The warlord's laughter cut through their moment. Courage? They are nothing but frightened orphans. Watch as your rebels burn. He raised his hand. A massive red beam shot from the flagship, destroying one of the rebel ships in a single strike. The explosion lit up the void. Kale gasped. Lyra's hands shook. Daniel grabbed both of them and pulled them close. Don't look away, he said. You can't. If you want to stop him, if you want to protect anyone, you must face this right now. The twins stared at the fire in space. Tears ran down Kyle's cheeks, but his eyes began to glow brighter. Lyra's breath came sharp, her golden light flickering like a storm inside her chest. They turned back to the warlord, their fear melting into fire. No more, Lyra whispered. The warlord tilted his masked head. What did you say, child? Lyra stepped forward, her small frame shaking but her voice steady. No more, we fight! Her golden light burst outward, filling the bay. Kale's blue energy surged beside her, making the walls tremble. For the first time, the warlord stepped back. The old teacher fell to his knees, his voice breaking. The heirs awaken. The soldiers in the bay hesitated, weapons lowering. Some looked at each other nervously, as if unsure who to follow. Daniel seized the moment. He shouted at the top of his lungs. Look at them. Look at your true rulers. Not him, them. The twins' light grew stronger, washing across the bay, like dawn. The soldiers' red visors flickered, their loyalty wavering. The warlord roared. Silence. They are mine. He unleashed a wave of dark energy, crackling red and black. It struck the twins head on. They stumbled, nearly falling. Daniel caught them, steadying their small bodies. Stand. Don't give up now. Lyra gritted her teeth. Kyle screamed, and together they pushed back. Their power met the warlords in a blinding clash of light and dark. The entire ship shook. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The floor cracked. Daniel held his ground, shielding the twins with his body when debris fell. Through the chaos, the rebel ships rallied. Seeing the heirs' light blazing from the flagship, they attacked with renewed strength, cutting through. The warlord's fleet with blue fire. The tide was turning. But victory was not yet won. The warlord pressed harder, his dark power overwhelming, driving the twins back step by step. Daniel's arms ached as he held them up. You are nothing, the warlord shouted. Your parents are dust. Your throne is mine. Lyra's knees buckled. Kyle cried out. Daniel's voice broke, desperate but fierce. Listen to me. You are not nothing. You are everything they fear. You are hope. You are the heirs of Zarin. The words struck deep. The twins screamed as one, their power exploding outward. Golden and blue light fused together, forming a storm that tore across the bay. The soldiers were thrown aside. The warlord staggered. For the first time, his mask cracked, sparks flying. He looked at the twins with rage and a hint of fear. Daniel grinned through the smoke. Yeah, now you see it. You're not the only one with power anymore. Outside, the rebel ships cheered. The fleet of darkness began to break. For the first time in years, the galaxy saw light rising against the shadow. But inside the warship, the battle was far from over. The warlord straightened, his voice a snarl. You may fight, but you will not win. Not while I still draw breath. Daniel tightened his grip on the twins' hands. The war was just beginning, and he would not let them face it alone. The warship burned like a wounded beast. Alarms wailed. Sparks rained from broken wires. Smoke filled the air. The clash of powers, dark red against golden and blue, shook the ship with every strike. Daniel stood with Lyra and Kale at his side. His body was bruised, his arms weak, but he refused to fall. The twins' small hands gripped his tightly, their light flickering but strong. Before them, the warlord loomed, his mask cracked, his cloak torn. His crimson eyes burned brighter with rage. You think you have won? He thundered. I am eternal. You are children, weak, lost, broken. Daniel's voice came out rough but steady. Funny. You look scared. The warlord roared and unleashed a storm of red energy. The blast tore across the bay, ripping metal apart. Daniel shielded, the twins with his body bracing for death. But then, warmth. The light around him grew brighter, wrapping him in a cocoon of gold and blue. The twins had stepped forward, no longer hiding. Lyra raised her hand, her golden light bending the storm away. Kale's blue energy surged, pushing, back against the darkness. Together they stood tall. For the first time, Daniel didn't see scared children. He saw rulers. The warlords staggered as their power met his. The ship shook harder. Outside, rebel ships pressed their attack, tearing through the Black Fleet. The tide was turning. "No," the warlord bellowed. "This throne is mine." He lunged, faster than Daniel expected, his claws reaching for the twins. Daniel didn't think. He moved. He threw himself between them, his chest taking the strike. The pain was fire. He gasped, falling to his knees. "Daniel!" Lyra screamed. Kyle's small hands glowed brighter, trembling with fury. Tears ran down his silver cheeks. The warlord sneered. "See how fragile he is? One cut and your protector dies." Daniel forced his head up, blood on his lips. Don't stop. Don't you dare stop now." Lyra's body shook. She looked at Kyle, then at Daniel. The choice she had feared was before her. Fight and risk losing him, or surrender, and live as slaves. Her golden eyes blazed. "No more fear," she whispered. The twins rose together, their light bursting like a star, golden and blue fused into white fire, brighter than the warlord's darkness. The bay filled with roaring energy. Metal bent and twisted. The warlord staggered, his mask shattering, revealing a face twisted with scars and hate. He screamed, his voice filled with rage and disbelief. "I am power. I am destiny." Lyra's voice cut through like a blade. "No, we are destiny." The twins unleashed everything. A storm of light swallowed the warlord, his scream echoing across the ship. The darkness shattered. His body dissolved into nothing, ripped apart by the heirs' combined strength. Then, silence. The bay was broken, cracked, but alive. The warlord was gone. Daniel collapsed onto the floor, gasping for breath. His vision blurred. The twins rushed to him, their light dimming as exhaustion consumed them. Kale pressed his glowing hands to Daniel's wound, trying to heal him. Sparks flickered but faded. He sobbed, shaking his head. No, don't go." Daniel's hand rose weakly, resting on Kale's. "Hey, I'm not leaving. Not until I see you safe." Lyra knelt beside him, her fierce eyes soft for the first time. "You are family." Daniel's chest tightened, not from pain, but from something deeper. For so long he had been alone. Now, against all odds, he wasn't. Outside, the rebel ships hailed the flagship. Their voices crackled through broken speakers. "The heirs live. The warlord is dead. Freedom returns." Cheers erupted across the fleet. The black-armored soldiers who remained dropped their weapons, their loyalty shattered. The old teacher stepped forward, tears in his eyes. He bowed low to the twins. "Your Highness, your people await you." Lyra and Kale looked at each other, then at Daniel. Their hands never left his. Daniel forced himself to stand, leaning on them. "Go on," he whispered. "Show them who you are." Later, in the heart of the rebel fleet, the ceremony took place. The last survivors of Zarin gathered in a great hall aboard a shining ship. Banners of gold and blue were raised once more. The people wept as they saw their heirs, alive and strong. Lyra and Kale stood on a high platform, their small bodies glowing, their eyes filled with new strength. They were crowned with simple circlets of light, symbols of a throne lost, but now reborn. The crowd bowed, chanting their names. But the twins did not raise their hands to command. Instead, they turned, holding Daniel between them. "This man," Lyra said in broken earth words, her voice clear, "is no king, no heir, but he is our family. He saved us. He is one of us." Kyle nodded fiercely. "Human, brother, forever." The hall erupted with cheers. Daniel stood there overwhelmed, tears burning his eyes. He had never wanted a throne, never wanted glory. All he had wanted was to do what was right. And now, Against all odds, he had found a place where he belonged. That night, as stars glimmered outside the ship's windows, Daniel sat with the twins. They leaned against him, exhausted, but safe. "Your parents would be proud," Daniel whispered. Lyra looked at him, her golden eyes soft. "You too," Cale yawned, his small head resting on Daniel's shoulder. "Family." Daniel smiled, closing his eyes. For the first time in years, he felt peace. The galaxy still faced battles ahead. The twins would grow into rulers, and Daniel, an ordinary human, would walk beside them. Because sometimes humanity's greatest power was not strength, or weapons, or blood. It was simply the choice to protect.